Origin and evolution. Roman architects continued to follow the guidelines established by the classical orders. The Greek had first shaped Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. The Corinthian was particularly favored, and many Roman buildings, even into late antiquity, would have a particular Greek to look at them. The Romans did, however, add their own ideas, and their version of the Corinthian capital became much more decorative, as did the cornice. The Romans also create the composite capital, which mixed the volute of the Ionic order with the acanthus leaves of the Corinthians. The Tuscan column was another adaptation of a traditional idea, which was a form of Doric column, but with a smaller capital, more slender shaft with flutes, and a molded base. The Tuscan column was specially used in domestic architecture, such as Paris materials and techniques. The Romans did not invent lime mortar, but they were the first to see the full possibilities of using it to produce concrete. Concrete rubble and usually been reserved for a use of filter material, but Roman architects realized that the material could support great weight and could therefore, with a little imagination, be used to help expand space and create a whole new set of building opportunities. They called this material opus cementatium from the stone aggregate which was mixed with lime mortar. The material had a thick consistency when prepared and so delayed poured in modern concrete. It was discovered that by using pozzolana, which had a high silica content, the concrete could set under water and even stronger than normal concrete. Key Roman buildings are aqueducts, bridges, basilicas, bath, private home, temple, chaeter amphitheater, triumphal arch, and walls. Aqueducts are bridges. These some massive structure with single, double, or triple tiers of arches were designed for some source of many kilometers away. While basilica is the basilica was adopted by the Christian Church but was conceived by the Romans as a place for any large gathering, the most common use being law courts. They were usually built along one side of Forum, the city's marketplace, which was enclosed on all sides of colonnades. Baths. Roman baths displayed the typical Roman ability for creating breathtaking interior spaces using arches, domes, vault, and buttresses. These exteriors were usually plain, but within there were often sumptuous, with the lavish use of columns, marble, and statues and mosaics. Private homes. Roman private residents could also enchant with atrium, peristyles, garden, and fountains, all ordered in harmonious symmetry. Temples. The Roman temple was a combination of Etruscan and Greek models with an inner cella at the rear of the building surrounded by columns and placed on a raised platform with a step entrance and column porch, the focal point of the building. Temples were usually rectangular but could not take other forms such as circular or polygonal. Chaeters and amphitheaters. The Roman chaeter was a course inspired by the Greek version, but the orchestra was made semicircular and the whole using stone. Chaeters also displayed the Roman passion of enclosing spaces, especially as they were often roofed in wood or employed canvas awning. Triumphal arches. The triumphal arches, with a single or double or triple entrance, had no particular function other than to commemorate in sculpture and inscription significant events such as military victories. Walls. Even more modest Roman walls offer a surprising number of variations. The width of Roman walls could also vary tremendously from the thinnest at 18 cm to a massive 6-meter thick. Rarely were marble and fine stone blocks used as this was too expensive. Large square blocks were used to create ashlar masonry walls, that is, close-fitting blocks without any use of mortar.